articulate. Right now, you don't know me. You are forming an impression of me as a human being, largely based on the way that I'm working this room, using people's names, jumping off the stage, all of that. Companies have brands, right? Ariaka has a brand. Companies have brands. So if I said Coca-Cola or Bud Light, you think of things, right? Things pop into your head. Let's do a little experiment. When I say the words Coca-Cola, what do you instantly think of? Polar bears. Who said, what? Now, why do you all think of, what's your name? Jonah. Why do you think of polar bears? Does Coke put LSD in its liquid to make you think of polar bears? Why do you think of polar bears, Jonah? Their marketing, their commercials, their advertising. You will form a perception of a company largely based on the way that that company communicates. Do people have brands? Absolutely. And what forms that brand? Largely based on the way that that person communicates. I had a guy come up to me, this is about 6 months ago, during a break in one of my sessions, in rather an aggressive way. And he said, "What do you think?" And he had this massive neck tattoo that wrapped up Mike Tyson style around his eye. And I said, well, if you want to be the creative director of an advertising agency, if you're an artist, if you're a musician, cool, I love tattoos. You want to be the CEO of Chase Bank? Probably not going to fly. So this is homework number one coming out of my little session today. We didn't talk about this last year, is what is the brand that you want to represent when you walk into a room or your name floats across somebody's desk in an email or a phone call, or when you leave a prospect's sales pitch. And by the way, I don't care what that brand is. How boring would it be if God made us all the same? But once we decide, okay, in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years, this is what I want people to think of me, we're going to use all the tools in our communication toolbox to reinforce and to shape that brand. So concept one is people really only take away a small sliver of what you said. And I think you as a company have embraced that over this past year. I've heard that 20% all over the place. But they will form a perception of you as a person by the way you communicate. And I would argue that all the Ariaka brand is made up of the way that all of your team communicates, from the receptionist to the CEO, right? So concept one is people form perceptions on the way you communicate. Concept number two is going to blow your mind.